After the ball is over, after this game is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 407. Today is Saturday, June 20th, 2020, as we are recording. I am Marlecia, also known as Lady Furnico.
And I'm Talia, also known as Franciscan Gypsy.
We want to welcome all new and returning viewers. We're glad that you are here for the PHuN in the Woman Cave. If you are new, we're glad that you found us, and we hope that you will return because you like what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are returning, we're always glad to have you back. If you are in the shadows for whatever reason whatsoever, please feel free to join us officially on the YouTube channel. You just hit the little subscribe button on your right and hit the little bell for notifications. That would be great. And you can join, if you'd like, the PHuNpodcast.freeforums.net. That's our group. That's PHuNpodcast.freeforums.net, and that's where all the alongs and the giveaways and coupons and camaraderie and all the fun stuff takes place over there. So, because it's easier for us to pull for prizes and things over there. So that's whether you're new or in the shadows, or whether you're new or returning, it doesn't matter. We'd love to have you official with us at the group. Now, before I go into the 400 episode giveaway, we did introduce ourselves, right? You didn't.
Yes.
Okay, so you want to do the tea?
You usually do tea. How many products do you have?
7.
I have 5. You go
7.
first.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right. So in my I'm tongue-tied today. I think I'm going to need the caffeine in this. This is what my daughter's head looks like. That's an oboe for those of you who are new, because I know we got a few viewers. Thank you very much for joining us. This is,
What?
Well, I'll keep going. I'll just get to that later. Okay, in this cup is my Plum Deluxe Fog Cutter Black Tea. Okay, and Taya and I have talked about this on the podcast. I think it was last week. She had it, and it is kind of like an Irish breakfast tea. And I didn't want.
Well, it is an Irish breakfast tea.
Okay, I didn't want anything that was
fancy.
My stomach just, for some reason, at this point in time, does not want fancy stuff in the morning. So this says Fog Cutter Black Tea. Clear through the emotional clutter and focus on your dreams. I can definitely use focus. All organic, Assam black tea, Ceylon black tea, African black tea, Darjeeling black tea, lemon peel, love, gratitude, and caffeine. Okay? And so this is Plum Deluxe, which is Andy. And this is probably our hands-down favorite tea person.
Indeed.
Every once in a while you hear us mention Vine and Leaf, which is our local tea place, and they have some good things too. But for consistent tea, we go to Andy. We love
and they're
Andy.
also gluten-free, dairy-free.
Yes, they're amazing. So this is my...
Which you can't guarantee with something like David's tea or something like that.
Right, because they put things in it. Sorry for the slurping. I didn't realize how high it was.
Dripping.
Oh, do I? Where?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, I see it.
Now,
Do you
in
want to
my...
taste this or no?
Hold on one second. I guess I should taste it now. Yeah. I know I like this one. Very good as always.
Yes, and I steeped it, she steeped it, because I tasted hers last time. And there's been a question of whether I steep mine too long sometimes, so that's why I don't like it as much. She steeped it for 5 minutes last time, so I steeped it for the same, because I like the way it tastes. So, taste it.
Well, that's what it calls for, isn't it?
Yes, but remember we said range.
Okay, so in my this is what my head looks like mug, and once again an oboe.
If you want to know what that is, you can ask us, or you can ask a moderator, or you can go back a few episodes and see.
And I have, this is not the original container for Plum Deluxe. I decided that I get this often enough that I wanted to have it all in one place, so I took an old container for different tea, washed it out, and I filled it with Plum Deluxe's Cuddle Time Herbal Tea. So the container is not correct, but it says cozy up with this relaxing sleepy tea. I don't use it for sleeping. I just like it. Pairs of pajamas and midnight snacks. All organic, chamomile, Rubio's tea, peppermint, leaves, vanilla, essence, love, gratitude, no caffeine.
I might have to get some of that.
I'll let you taste them.
For a little while, I swore off of that because of all the flowers. I wasn't sure if it was setting me off.
So good. There's just something about chamomile tea.
It smells really good.
It's one of my comfort teas. I have a couple different comfort teas. This is one of them.
Yeah, that's really good.
Because it's not overpowering with flavor, but it's definitely got its own flavor.
Yeah. Okay. For the 400, I did close the threads this morning when I got up. So we had at least one person get in just under the wire. So that was good. The 400 episode giveaway is one skein of Lady Furnico Creations fingering sock. And this colorway is called, very originally, 400 PHN episode giveaways. OOAK. So this is the skein. And I pulled, we had 7 people who asked, who wanted to be included. And when I did the random number generator, it came up with number 7. So Sue, Family Diva, this is yours.
Yay.
Please email me or PM me and give me your name, your address, and the fact that you won the 400 episode giveaway. Congratulations. Thank you everybody who said they wanted this. I appreciate it. Sue, congratulations. Please get me the information as soon as possible and I'll get it out as soon as I can. Thank you guys for playing along. I'm going to put this here. So that's that there. Okay. Alright, so that takes care of that. That's one down. I will be putting up the 300 plus sales for Lady Furnico Creations probably in about a week or two. I don't want to do it too close to this one. So we'll see when that goes up. Just keep your eye out for it, and I'll show you those skeins later so you remember what they are. We do have a new member, an official new member to the group.
To the PHN home.
To the PHN home, and that's Simply Crafty. Welcome, Simply Crafty. We're glad to have you with us. Awesome. And we hope that you enjoy your time with us.
And new viewers, because we have a few new.
Yeah, we have like 8 new viewers or something like that.
To the new YouTube viewers who are not familiar with what we mean by PHN Home, that is our forums. We have the link down in the underneath
the description box or whatever it's called. It's phnpodcast.freeforums.net. Okay. All right.
Before we go into longs, I kind of feel like we need to touch on our new news.
No, I think we should wait on that. I mean, we can if you want to.
Well, let's do the longs and then maybe do that because I have a few projects that relate to that.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, I guess it can wait till the end.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I can.
You positive?
Positive.
Okay. All right. So now if we whet your appetite for that, we hope, we will keep moving. Okay, moving on. Our upcoming alongs next week, actually, because... Is it next week? What's this? Today is the 20th. It's about 10 days, I guess, right? About 10 days?
30 days have September,
April, June, and November.
So, yeah.
So about 30 days. About 10 more days. We will be starting our new alongs, which
really this time.
What? Really this time. Cardiac dysautonomia, which is ours, and then tortoise versus hare. Okay.
Yeah, because at the beginning of this month we made the error that.
Yeah, that was because of the Lady Furnico Creations. The Lady Furnico Creations giveaway that we did with the mystery skeins. I changed the date on it to give people more time, and so I got confused with when everything ended. The current alongs will all end June 30th because there's only 30 days in June, so you have till midnight going into July 1st, or if we whenever we close it down. So try to get it by midnight of June 30th, before then, because on Eastern Standard Time. Not that the it's variable when the
it all
thread will be
depends on who
closed.
gets a chance to close
Who
it.
closes it, because we have people on Texas, I think it is, who can close it. We have people overseas who can close it, and then we can close it. So it kind of varies at what time it can be closed. So try to aim for midnight Eastern Standard Time, although it could be open later. Okay, just so you make sure you get all your projects in. Okay, so let's, without further ado, and now that I've confused you completely, Cardiac Dysautonomia, Tortoise vs. Hare is Laura Concert's baby, but we are co-hosting with her again, which is awesome. That will be starting July 1st, okay? Now, our current alongs, PHN, Charity, Cal, Lao. Now, for those of you who are new, we have several new members on YouTube. I'm going to go through the rules. I'm going to basically read them on this along, and then I will just adjust them for the other alongs as needed, so I don't have to read them over and over again. Okay? The PHN Charity Cal Lao 2020. Okay, that started January 1st. It's a year-long along, and it goes through to December 31st, midnight, going into January 1st of 2021. Okay? This products must be knit, loom knit, or crocheted, with the exception for the sewn masks, the medical masks, so that people, have a little more protection against this virus that's going around. They say that it's going to continue through the fall, maybe longer, so these masks will be needed indefinitely, and we want to make sure that those people who are being so generous with their time, their talent, and their materials have a chance, even though they're not looking for recompense, to be acknowledged. So those will be accepted in this charity long, even though they're sewn. Okay? Now, projects may loom knit, or crocheted, except for that caveat. Previous whips are allowed, but must be worked on during the along. Chatter and pictures are all on the same thread. All charity projects will be accepted, but baby items, the masks, any Franciscan gypsy design pattern, any of my patterns, and any Laura Concert design pattern that is used for hers is, I think is her patterns Laura Concert, or are they also Lollipop Girl?
I think they're Laura Concert, but
I think they're Laura Concert design, but you can check it out. Those any of those that are used for projects, finished objects, for the charity along, for charity, they can be accepted for 2 chances at a prize for the finished object only. So that's the Franciscan Gypsy design pattern, a Laura Concert pattern, my pattern, which is only one at the moment, finished objects for the charity along. Okay, for the charity along, if they're for charity. Now, my yarn and Laura's yarn, which is Lollipop Girl yarns, those are featured. I can't talk today. Featured yarns. Those are also 2 chances at a prize for the finished object with that yarn. If you use a featured yarn with a featured pattern and you have a finished object, that finished object is 3 chances at a prize for that particular object, but you are responsible for your own multiple posting. And I know I got very tongue-tied during that description, so if you have any questions, you can ask us, or you can look in the thread, okay?
Right.
And we have moderators who
And
are
you
very
do
good.
have to be a part of the forums to
Yes.
take part in the alongs.
To do the alongs, you have to be part of the forum. It's just easier for us to pull prizes
forums
that
are
way.
free. You don't have to pay for that.
No, you just have to say, hey, I want to come in, and we'll let you in.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, 1 whip per project per week, and for those of you who don't know, a whip is a work in progress, and an FO is a finished object, okay? Let's see. The hashtag for Instagram is PHN Charity 2020, all right? And this quarter prizes, we have a knit baby book that's a prize for 1 person, and a Croy Socks FX yarn 2 skein set. It's in the cadet colorway that was donated by Christina, who is Mama C. Thank you very much. Those are the 2 prizes we're giving out for this quarter, which ends June 30th. Okay, that's the last day, all right? And then we'll go into the 3rd quarter. Now, Autism Awareness is coming to a close. This is one of our quarterly alongs, which means it runs for 3 months. And this one has been from April through June, okay? And the prizes for this, we have 2 skeins of Encore yarn. One is blue, one is variegated. That's a set. And a skein of Knit Picks Hawthorne Fingering, which is a speckled blue, gray, and fuchsia. And I think these are both donated by Christina as well. She's been very generous with us.
Has.
Okay? Now this, for Autism Awareness, the rules are basically the same. okay? Except that the projects must be bright colored, at least 75 to 80% bright colored, okay? Because, bright colored or blue, all right? Blue is also an autism color.
And it also it's not a year long.
Yeah, I just it was quarterly, yeah. Now, the hashtag is PHN AA 2020 for us. Our co-host is Laura Concert, and you've heard us mention her many, many times. Mm-hmm. She's very special to the PHN family.
Yes,
so
yes.
she is our co-host. I'm not sure what her hashtag is. And the first few times that she did it with us, I believe she required even more bright colors than we had. So check her out when you're doing her rules. We do have information if you're not on Ravelry. She's made it very, very easy, even if you're not on Ravelry, to take place in these alongs. She has a place for you to do it on Facebook, and she has a place for you to do it via email, and it's in a thread in our group. Yeah. Okay, so we are very grateful for that. Let me see here. I'm trying to think here. Okay, I'm sorry, I've got a brain fog here, and people who watch us know that I get this every so often. Lady Fernico Creations yarn, Lollipop Girl yarns, Franciscan Gypsy Designs patterns, Laura Concert's patterns, My One pattern. These are all eligible for 2 chances at a prize for the finished object, 3 chances at a prize if the pattern and the yarn are married, just like I said earlier, and you are responsible for the multiple postings, okay? I forgot to say another featured pattern. We had Braided Bright by George, who is 10 hours or less, and I think we have information on him in the stash enhancement thread.
I think it's in announcements where I have all the information about the different places you can go to get patterns.
Okay, so 10 hours or less. George is amazing. He was with us at the beginning. He did a lot to promote us in terms of support. Very, very beautiful patterns, both knit and crochet. So if you use his Braided Bright, the Winding Journey hat by Juliana Lund, or Miss World, who is Amy, I believe, her weighted lapgan and teddy bear patterns, and you don't have to do both, you can do one or the other.
Right.
Those are accepted also for double chance at a prize for the finished object, or triple if it's used with a featured yarn. Okay? All right, that goes into, like I said, if you're confused, I don't blame you, because I was a little bit tongue-tied today, but you can just ask, or you can contact us on the boards, or even on YouTube, and we'll get back to you.
We can explain the rules.
Do I go first?
You do, because you have 7 projects to my 5.
Okay.
So you go twice.
Just one time, though, I think. Yes. Probably. Okay. This one you haven't seen in a while. It's in my Mickey Mouse Ploverbird bag. Ploverbird Mickey Mouse bag. This is my Colorful Birds wrap, and I worked on this yesterday. I think I worked 4 rows on it while we were watching a movie, and I decided it was enough and I didn't want to do it anymore. I just wanted to sit down and watch the movie. It was a really good movie. It was Betty Davis, Leslie Howard, Olivia de Havilland, and I don't know who the guy was who played the gentleman's gentleman, but he was hysterical. His timing was absolutely perfect. I forget what the name of the movie was, but it was a 1937 movie. Patty might know what it was. She tends to like older movies. But,
I don't usually care for Ashley and things.
He's pretty good in this. He shows some of his comedic timing. He does have comedic timing.
And I just called him Ashley because I forgot his name momentarily.
Leslie Howard.
Yes. So I was like, okay, I can remember the name of his character in Gone with the Wind.
It was funny because I was talking to Daddy and I was saying, oh yeah, had they, what things had people been in together, those 3 people, Leslie Howard, Olivia de Havilland, and Betty Davis. I didn't think they'd been in anything all 3 together. And then we were, pairing them off, and he was like, well, I don't think he's ever been in anything with Olivia de Havilland. I said, yes, he has. He said, no, I don't think so. I said, Gone with the Wind. He's like, oh, yeah.
They were even married.
So it was pretty funny.
He was a bit of a sad spectacle of a man, but,
Well, yeah. Okay, so anyway.
He just was kind of a weak character.
But here you go. So this is what I've got so far. You haven't seen this in a while. It's growing a little bit because I worked on it.
Did you tear it out at one point? Because I felt like it was bigger.
No, I don't think so.
Huh, okay.
I don't think I tore it out.
My memory must be just wrong.
Well, you haven't seen it in a while either. You might have confused it with a different pattern.
I thought the yarn, that was the yarn that I got you.
It is.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was bigger.
It was in something else. I had it in something else. And I didn't like the way it was working out in it.
That's probably what I'm thinking of, is that it was in something else and was bigger in that thing, and I forgot that you restarted it.
Because my next thing to do, if I don't want this anymore, for whatever reason, will be a Surabel. Because Surabel...
It would be really pretty in a
Surabel does. When in doubt, put it in a Surabel. The Surabel pattern is by Sarah Sweethearts, and I must have done this pattern like a gazillion times. I absolutely love it. For blankets, for scarves, for cowls, whatever it is, if I figure out that I can't figure out what to do with the yarn, that's what happens to this
Do you
yarn.
have one in on the hooks right now? Surabel?
I don't think I do, oddly enough. I usually have one on the hooks. I don't think I do at the moment.
For shame.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do another one.
You get one more.
Oh, that's right. I need a cup of tea. Okay, in my Ninja Turtle baby blanket. Oh, in my Ninja Turtle baby blanket
Well,
is my bag. Is my bag. In my Universal Studios bag is my Ninja Turtle baby blanket from the Ninja Turtle baby blanket pattern by Lisa Vanilla, and this is just, it's Brava Sport in white, black, green, solstice heather, red, eggplant, and orange. And you won't see the white or the black yet because that will be for the eyes. But I did a little work on this. You see the green is getting a little larger than it was before. When I finish this green row, I'll be going on to Donnie, which is purple. I think they call it eggplant. And then I may have to edge this, maybe with the green, because I don't like the way it's edging.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
I kind of feel like crochet has a bit of a chunkier edge that I don't care for.
well, if you don't do it exactly, and my gauge is changeable. It's loose as it is, but it's changeable. It doesn't help that I think I may have changed needles. I mean, not needles, hooks once or twice, like because it got lost in the bag. So I'm going to probably edge this, but in a green. But that's okay. It'll be fine. I have to put the eyes on, which is the white and the black. For the,
You could also probably get away with edging it in a black.
I probably won't. But this is, these are the masks for the turtles. If you're familiar with the Ninja Turtles, Donatello's mask, Raphael's mask, not Donatello's, Leonardo's mask, Raphael's, and then Donatello's will be the purple, and then Mikey will be orange. Might not have been the colors I would have chosen if I had made a blanket on my own, but these are for the turtles. So
now it goes on to me. This has got a lot of work on it.
now we're going to talk about me. Oh, goody.
This is, hold on, bring up my show notes. Just a Little Chilly, Mitre Square Blanket, Afghan. And this is based off of a video series that was done by KF Jones of Bakery Bears fame and the Patreon. It was a early, like several years back, early instructional video. She's since written a pattern that includes mitered squares that's slightly different than this here.
I think that was one of her first tutorials.
I think it was too. So this got a ton of work on it. Let's see if I can find the end. No, hold on. I know it's.
Which end are you looking for?
I'm looking for the one with the stitch mark.
Oh, okay.
There it is. So, I finished this square here.
Is that Marigold Jen?
Yes, that's Scenic Route.
Yeah, I thought so.
These two are from my bunny cow.
It makes me sad that Marigold Jen is not here anymore.
And then, let me unclip this because I need to put it on. The one I'm currently working on. Then let's see, it's actually down the side.
Oh, you did quite a bit?
Yes, I did. It was long enough, it just needed to be a smidge wider based on the size of average throws. So, and if I'm using it and I find I want it a little bit longer, I can always add more squares. But I've been sleeping with it still. So I did this square, this one here, this one here, this one here, and this one. It's a total of 11 squares at the side because it's 11 rows tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So
Another 6.
Another 6 to go. So
That's really
6
nice.
and a half, right?
Yeah, about that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah, I mean, next week it could easily
Be done.
be done, and I'll just be weaving in 10 million ends.
I really like this color.
Which one?
This one.
Oh yeah. That's a Harry Potter colorway.
Yeah. That'd make a nice turtle.
It was a sock.
Yeah, make a nice turtle.
So yes, that's where that's at right now. That's gotten quite a bit of work.
This one's very patriotic.
Yeah, this is yours. This is Captain America.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't used it for anything else, and because it really is something that, because it's such a patriotic color, it's hard to use in a lot of things.
Right.
But it works for this. For scrappy things and things like that.
Okay. All right. In my Silver Shade USA Owls bag with the Venus artwork is my Taste of Autumn shawl project. Well, this is from the Scrap Shawl by Anastasia Zattel. And this is Miss Babs Yows, and I'm not sure what the colorways are. I'm using an eye hook. I know the Malabrigo is Sunset, but the other 2 colors from Miss Babs, I'm not sure what they are. I didn't do a lot on this, but I did a bit. It's growing. It's growing. I do love this shawl pattern. It sits nicely on your shoulders, and you can use any yarn you want, with the appropriate hook, which always makes me happy.
Yes.
So,
Well, shawls do tend themselves to that, though, unless there's a lot of...
well, yeah, all you have to be aware of is gauge is not critical, but it'll affect how much yarn you're going to use.
Yeah.
You just have to know what hook you're going to use, and I guess in knitting as well, just needles, and then you adjust accordingly, and you can play around with the hooks or the needles to make it as airy or as chunky as you want it, as dense as you want it to be.
Yeah.
So this one still has a ways to go because Talia wants it to be bigger than
Yes,
this.
I do.
So, because this is for her. I mean, it's still a good size shawl, already.
I just like a really
But
large one.
you need to have a bigger one with this pattern. And I would like to use as much of my yarn as possible for this. So,
Win-win.
yes. That's that.
Alrighty, let me finish this last stitch. There we go. So, the next one, you guys saw this last week.
They actually saw it or saw it in quotes?
Actually saw it. This is the last one they get to actually see.
Okay.
In my Silver Shed USA Oops' bunny bag where Davina did the artwork is the Fair Isle Fisherman's Kept by Anne Sinclair. Last week I told you I was going to take it back to the point before the pink, and I did that. I didn't get to the point where I was before because other things took my attention. But,
Oh, that looks nice.
yeah, I like it a lot better with this combination.
It's darker, but I like
Well,
it.
it needs to be darker with,
Well, I don't know. Artists will be able to tell me, and Dad will be able to tell me if I asked him. I get confused with things like value and stuff like that, and tone and things like that. But there's definitely something there that's better than having that bright.
well, it ties together well. It looks like it belongs in the same
And for some reason, it
season.
doesn't affect. This blue doesn't affect. It's
well,
still
because
okay.
it looks like it's just a little pop.
Yeah.
And there's enough of the dark around it to make up for it. But to have, like I did, a really bright section, and I know that there were people, and I haven't responded to you on Facebook, who were like, well, I really like that combination, and I appreciate that, but I couldn't live with it.
Right.
I really didn't care for it. And this I'm a lot happier with. It just looked like before, like I had taken a hat for Davina and stuck it on top of my hat.
Right. I keep forgetting it's a hat. I keep wanting to say it's a cowl, but it's a hat. And this is just black underneath?
Yeah, it's a black ribbing.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to be folded all the time.
Right.
So
That's very nice. That's going to be a pretty hat when it's done.
it is, and it's nice, and because it's a very slouchy hat, because that's the style of it. What I like about that then is that you truly do get to see all the pattern.
Right.
Because sometimes you miss the color work on it.
I could never wear a hat like that. It bothers my neck about it. But I prefer the beanies or the 20s things that you might have something all in the front, but it's not in the back type of thing. Because it just bothers my neck to have something like that. But it looks great.
So I'm not going to finish it in time for the long. They're supposed to be doing the decreases, and I haven't even gotten back to that
it
point.
doesn't matter.
Well, other things happen. They always have it constantly going. It's just not. It won't be with everyone else who is doing it at the same time.
Oh, no biggie.
Everyone's going to be at different times.
No biggie.
Because it's a constant Facebook group where they're knitting this cap.
It's pretty, it's a good thing that Davina didn't see it in her bright colors if it was all those bright colors.
Well, eventually, if I thought she would wear it, if she likes the way it looks, I could make it in her colors and be very fun to knit.
Yes.
Because her colors are fun.
It wouldn't be traditional.
Well, this isn't traditional.
I don't know what the traditional would be.
Traditional tends to be like whites and blacks. It might have some greens, some browns, some blues. You know, things
Very
that...
subdued.
Right. Right. But not like I have there.
Like that. Okay. My next one is in my PHN Chameleon bag. And these bags, the last couple bags I mentioned, I don't know if I said, these are Anne of Green Gables. Well, Anne, you are now of Green Gables. Anne Brody, who is the Silver Shed USA.
Of Green Gables.
Of Green Gables. She makes amazing bags. The artwork is my husband's, because she does custom bags as well. And the pattern is just one that I kind of cobbled together based on something I saw in a magazine, a picture at the bottom. I keep saying at the bottom of the hill. For those of you who don't know, there's a secondhand kind of, you know, if you've seen TV where they go and they do those containers where they bid for the containers and there's stuff in it. That's the kind of shop that would have that kind of stuff in it. And so this yarn came from,
Like they go to estate sales and things like that.
the pattern came from a book that I saw there in terms of, I looked at the picture and said, okay, this is what it looks like. The yarn is James C. Brett, chunky. And I made a little progress on it. See, that's the back. This is the front. I don't know if you can see the pattern on this.
They can.
So this is a fun kind of mindless thing. And once I finish this, my husband likes it, so I might give it to him as a scarf. But once I'm finished with this, I'm going to play with it a little bit and maybe develop a pattern for it. Not this one necessarily, but maybe something slightly different if I can play around with it a little bit. So,
Excuse me.
yeah, okay.
So that, leads on to my next one. Which you can't see, but in my Ravelry bag, whoops, I'm stuck, is a baby blanket.
I can't show you this one either. It's a pre-test knit for Taya. I showed you the yarn already, but I can't show you the pattern. I can just show you the yarn. It is a baby blanket. That's the color of the yarn. And this is also an Anne Brody bag, Silver Shed USA. Okay.
Okay, and then I have my last one to show.
Oh, you have only one?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do another one? I have two.
Oh, okay. Did I miscount how many I had?
No, I must have miscalculated.
Oh, I have two. I apologize.
Oh, you have two?
I
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Did I not bring a bag? It got thrown. That's what happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Okay. So, in my PHuN in the Woman Cave bag, this is a Silver Shed USA bag. We developed this for a kit that I did for the chameleon.
It's the same bag as this one.
And I don't see the chameleon. He's on the couch somewhere.
My husband's artwork. We did a kit. My yarn, Taya's pattern. My husband's artwork, and Brody's bags.
Yeah. The pattern, the toy's somewhere.
Right.
He must have gotten buried.
Yeah, he's under here somewhere.
But I can't actually show this to you.
You can't?
Nope.
No?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Now it's going to bother me because I know he was here a minute ago. And if the minute we get off air, he's going to...
He's probably hidden.
He's probably buried. He's not very big. He's only about this big.
Yeah. I mean, yours is a bit bigger.
Yeah, but not much.
Because your gauge is quite a bit bigger.
I don't know where.
You dropped a hook, Mom.
Oh. What size is this? An eye. Okay, probably goes in my...
You only have had the one crocheted project this time.
No, I had two.
Oh, which one?
I had...
Oh, that's right, the shawl.
Shawl, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Goes in my pet... Not this one, it goes in my pesty westy. No, that's not right. right, I'm sorry. All right, my next one is in my Kikiboo Holiday Owls bag. This is by Denise, who is Knitting Den, and her Etsy shop is open again, I believe. This is my little baby hat, apple red preemie hat, and I did a little on this. I go in phases. I thought I'd always have one of these on, but I think right now I want to do other things.
Well, you're very focused on your crochet right now.
So that's this. And the looms, I got, Ty gave me a whole bunch of looms, and Laura Concert gave me a whole bunch of looms. And when I branch out more, and I will when I get some time and things settle down a bit, I have almost every conceivable loom because the two of them together got me everything. And I'm very grateful to both of them. Thank you very much.
Last one for me now. In my PHuN in the Woman Cave bag, I actually had to remove a different project from it and exile it to another bag to use this one because
This is our words bag.
this is our words bag.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hers is Franciscan Gypsy. Mine is Lady Fernico, and we have all the words that we had a bit of a, not a contest, but a poll of what words we say a lot.
Yeah.
And the ones that were the most common are on the bag.
Yes. And the only thing that makes it a Franciscan Gypsy bag versus a Lady Fernico bag is the color. Mine is orange and Mom is blue. Yeah. So that's the only difference because
everything else is the same.
Yeah, some of these things are things that Mom says more, some things that both of us say, or whatever.
And some of them are things that Taya says. So it's just
Yeah.
or things that are important to us or whatever.
Yeah. I was gonna say there isn't a lot that I just say, but I guess "oops" is a bunny. But that's both of us. Mom's more the one who has catchphrases.
Not on purpose.
But yes, it has a project, and I can't show it.
Can't show it. So there. This is yours, I think.
What is mine?
That.
The little orange bag. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's sitting there on purpose.
Okay, this is another Silver Shed USA bag. This is, I call it my pink tortoises bag, but this is one of our tortoise versus hare bags with Laura Concert, and I'm not sure which one this is. Which year we got
That would
this.
be like
this
year
is
2.
2017.
Oh, okay.
2017.
Yay, I'm glad you put the year on the inside.
Because Anne's awesome. And I restarted this hat because I decided that having a hat that I didn't know what size it was supposed to be, you know, I wanted to be able to try it on Davina.
Right.
And Davina, even though she's smaller, she does have an adult head.
Yeah.
So, or I could try it on myself. So I restarted it. It's the Roaring 20s hat.
Yeah, because if only for the fact that the proportions of a child's head, a baby's head, is different than adults. They have a much larger forehead.
Right.
There's just a lot about the shape of a child's head that's not quite the same.
And I could have a better idea then also if what it does with a hat that I can try on a person does, and I know that for the baby or whatever, if I follow the directions, it'll be the right proportions.
Right.
Because it didn't look right to me when I did this one that I kind of messed up because I put buttons on them.
Yeah.
But it didn't look right. Like it would go all the way down. It just didn't look tall enough.
Right.
So now with this, I'll do the number of stitches. I'll try it on Davina or try it on myself, and if it's not right, I'll add some more rows before I do
Right.
whatever. I'm also doing this one in the back loops instead of the way she has me do it.
Well,
Not
we
because
just tend to...
well, it's easier for me to see my stitches that way.
Yeah.
So you can see the kind of spiraling effect of it.
And that's something that we got from Stacy Trock.
Yes. And Stacy Trock, I think she started out with toys, but she's branched out into other things
Yeah,
now, and knitting as well. And so she does classes and everything. She's an amazing person.
I think she slowed down a little bit once she had her daughter. Or
I
she
think
changed her focus.
She changed her focus. She was doing more classes, I think.
Yeah, because
but
I think maybe it was harder to get the focus to write patterns with
it
a
could have
small
been.
one running
It
around.
could have been. Although the inspiration was probably there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's this. And that takes care of me for
Okay,
pattern.
well that leads on to...
Oh, I did have something I wanted to show, but it's not actually a pattern. I just forgot to mention it.
Oh, show it.
I don't know what I'm doing with this. I just decided I was going to work and see about squares because for some reason I wanted to play with squares. So this is a granny square. It's a vintage 1935 or 9 or something. And you can see, I think I lost some of my stitches here. But I was just wanting to see if I felt like doing squares. And I'm not sure that I do, but it was fun to play with. So I wanted to show you before maybe tear it
Counts
out.
as a project.
It's not finished,
It counts as a project.
but it's not finished.
I know, but you didn't.
It's not,
you didn't
well,
add that in your account.
I forgot it.
Okay, so, any FOs?
No.
And my stuff is for Franciscan Gypsy Designs, so.
Okay. Do we have any, what's next, royalties?
We have, royalties next.
Okay, do you have any?
I do. One of them is this. This is a cooling vest. It is actually keeping my body, temperature down a little bit.
That's good.
I don't feel like I'm overheating quite as much as I normally do during the podcast.
Despite the hot tea.
Despite that too, yeah. It's not like it's overwhelmingly cold, it just adds a little bit of cool dampness.
It's going to help you a little more comfortable.
Right. And I also actually feel like it helps me a little bit sitting up
Posture,
straight.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it's got ice packs.
How many things do you have?
That, and then I have tea. You should have tea as well.
Yeah, we do. We showed the tea together. Remember when we showed you the last tea, we said there was more coming, and we had the little quasi-fiasco about ordering more than we needed? The rest of it came in. Let me go through mine first, so you have a lot more. I have 2 vanilla sugar cookie. You guys know how much I like that. And then I have a endearment blend oolong tea that I
have
know.
one of those.
I know that if I don't like it, Talia does. And I don't mean. I'm going to caveat this again. I do it constantly, but there are new people now. If I say I don't care for something from Andy, it's just because I don't care for the taste. It's not anything to do with the way Andy does his tea, because it's all fabulous. My other one that I got is creme brulee gray black tea.
I have that as well.
Is this a
It's an Earl Grey.
Earl Grey? Okay.
Most of these are Earl Greys.
Yeah.
Except for your
Vanilla.
vanilla one. Yeah.
I think I'm probably good on tea for a while now.
Did you not get another? I guess you didn't. Yeah, because you did.
Another what?
I thought that for some reason we had gotten a couple in common, but we hadn't.
Well, the other ones that I've got in common I already got.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got 2 fog cutter black teas because I actually just used the last of my fog cutter.
That's what I'm drinking right now.
Yesterday. So I'm glad
did?
I have. Oh, my other fog cutter, yeah.
Oh, you should have told me. I would have,
Well, I have these 2.
Yeah.
The last of my original bag. Then I have Lady Grey black tea
Yummy, yummy.
and California Grey herbal tea.
I'm going to try that when you do it, because I don't think I ever tried the California Grey Herbal. I had it for a while, but I gave it away.
That's a new one. I don't think you would have tried it. Oh, okay.
Or maybe it was just a California something that I picked up.
Could be. So those are teas. Now the last thing I have to talk about, I'm actually really enjoying. This is, it's got a bunch of sticky notes, and you can see this is the Everything Gluten-Free and Dairy-Free Cookbook by Audrey Roberts. And she has a blog called mamaknowsglutenfree.com. And a couple of the recipes I've made that you've seen on Instagram, at least the pizza bites, are on her blog.
And I think we should talk more about this maybe when we go Lifetime, so don't go into it now.
This is amazing.
That way, because there's a lot in there that you might want to touch on. I think we should do that at the end. Okay? All right, my next 2 things I have...
I forgot those came in.
This is, those of you who follow me on Instagram and some of the people who I'm in contact with personally, such as Patty, know that I really like Take Up and Read. They are Catholic women who put together their own Bible studies and things like that. And I think this is one of their early ones, because this one doesn't have an imprimatur. This one's called Flourish, and it's all about Romans. Okay, so that's letter of St. Paul to the Romans.
Yeah, as in the book of the Bible.
And
the epistle.
Those of you who've been with us for a long know I'm a member of the Holy Family Institute, which is Pauline. The patron is St. Paul. So this book is a Bible study all on the book of Romans. And I'm really looking forward to doing this. It has recipes in it, too. So I'm excited about that. There's like 4 recipes in this. Usually I have 3 of their books now. This is my 3rd one. And I've never seen recipes before. This one has recipes in it, so I'm excited about that.
Not sure what Paul would think about that.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind. People have to eat. And then we mentioned the book. I had gotten a book on Kindle from Mosaic Crochet, and then I had ordered one that was out of print as well. And this came in after the podcast, and it's called How to Mosaic Crochet. It's out of print. It's put out by Annie's Addict, or was put out by Annie's Addict.
Yeah, it's no longer available.
I am looking forward to going through this and really checking it out because I have ideas what I want to do with it. I know I keep hinting that I may be doing designs. Right now I'm kind of at that stage where it's a jumble.
Yeah, you have the desire to, you just don't know how to get
I don't know how to get started. So both knitting and crochet, but mostly crochet.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that takes care of my acquisitions.
Okay, and that leads us into reading/watching.
I finished Scoundrels by Timothy Zahn. I'm reading the end, the end books where you have the taste of a chapter of this and a chapter of that. And some of them have caught my interest, but I think I'm going to go into one of his other series. I forget which one it is. Not
Dragonback.
Not the Dragonback, but the other one. The PHuN.
I haven't read that one yet.
I think PHuN, was it PHuN Night Queen?
Yeah, I think that's all that's it.
No, Queen is the new one. What are the ones they have out? There's 3 of them out, and Queen is the new one.
Yeah, that would be PHuN Night Queen then, because it goes in upper...
But Queen wasn't... I didn't think Queen was out yet. I thought it was another one.
Hold on, I'll be able to tell you because I have them.
Is it like PHuN Squire Knight?
Hold on.
I forget.
Hold on. I know PHuN is one, I know Knight is one, I know Queen is one.
Or maybe Queen wasn't out yet when I got them. I don't know.
Library, because I had it on pre-order. So it is... There's Knight, there's Queen. Where are you, PHuN? I know you're here. There's PHuN. Yeah, it's PHuN Night Queen.
Okay, so PHuN Night Queen. I thought there was another one. I might read that one next. Also, Timothy Zahn has a new book out. I got a notification.
I got that too, but it was with someone else.
Yes. Yes, it was.
So I wasn't quite as interested because I wasn't sure whose style would prevail.
It's a short story, so I think they probably alternate.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm still listening to Poirot and Lord of the Rings as I'm trying to pull back. I feel like I have too much noise in my life right now with all the different things I want to do. Like when a podcast comes up that's new, I want to watch that. I have the religious things I haven't been able to get to because I've been frittering away doing things I shouldn't. So I'm going to try and clear back a little bit on that, but
mostly like redoing like things you've already done, right?
Some of it, and some of it's just like, okay, I've got all my Poirots on DVD. I don't need to be watching them, online. The same with Cadfile. I have Brother Cadfile on DVD. I don't have to be just for no particular reason, unless I decide I want to sit there and knit and watch it and I don't want to get my DVD out.
Now here's a really unpopular opinion, but I love Suchet as Poirot. I think he's a good Poirot, and I think everyone in the cast is well cast, but I actually don't care for the live action versions. Because a lot of times they mess with the plots a little too much for my liking. When they do...
Oh, you mean the actual movies and things?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like they tweak things a little too much. And sometimes I don't feel like it's a necessary tweak.
Yeah. I do like...
Or it changes things completely.
I do like the Poirots, and I think if you go to the TV series, you have things that aren't necessarily...
Oh, most of the TV series...
They're not... So you don't have to worry about it. They're not stories from the books.
Yeah.
And I do watch the TV series. I do like the movies as well, but I do prefer the books. And then Cadfile is amazing. I love that too. But
now you see, I actually can't watch Cadfile anymore because I fell in love with the book version. And I actually watched the TV show first.
Yeah, I watched the TV show as well first.
Because I watched the
excuse me,
One Corpse Too Many first, and I enjoyed it. But then I read the book, and I enjoyed it so much more. I really enjoyed the way that they wrote the Hugh character, and I didn't feel like he came through nearly as well in the show.
Now
I still do picture the actor as Cadfile as being Cadfile.
Yeah, well, that's Derek Jacobi. I started with that when we were in England. We were stationed in England, and it was on TV there. I don't know if it was in reruns or not, but that's why I got hooked on Cadfile, and it's typically, to me, you can tell something that's made across the pond as opposed to the America. It's a different feel to it, and it's very gentle, even though it's a mystery type of thing. I really enjoy Cadfile, Brother Cadfile. That's really cool. But anyway, we're getting off topic. What else do we need to talk about?
So that was about you were reading and stuff. Now what I am, because we aren't just here about yours.
I think it's all about me.
I want to talk about me.
All about me. Let's talk about me.
Talk
Oh,
about
goody.
mine. Talk about myself. Mine. Okay. So, I finished listening to 8 Cousins audiobook by Louisa May Alcott, and I finished Rose and Bloom. I've probably finished that like in 2 days. But that's a favorite of mine.
And it's a fast read.
I actually think it might be shorter than 8 Cousins.
Maybe.
Because it went a lot faster. Now, granted, I have a great fondness for Rose and Bloom, so that might be another reason. Been watching some Curiosity Stream documentaries. One was on, there's a couple, one was called, it was, Highwaymen, Pirates, and something else. It was basically the history of certain kinds of criminals in England. It was actually quite interesting.
Yeah. Privateers.
No, they weren't talking about private. They were saying highwaymen, pirates, and then they had another one, which is a later time period. Mm-hmm. That didn't have to do with the sea.
I was thinking more about pirates.
Well, because privateers would turn to pirates.
Well, they were, depending on who was looking at them.
Yes.
Privateers were considered pirates.
Yeah, but they were talking about people who the British considered to be pirates.
Okay, from the British point of view.
Yes.
Okay.
And they might have even, started as privateers. One of them did. One of their more famous ones, not Blackbeard necessarily. Blast, I can't remember his name right now. But he started out as a privateer, and then he crossed the line and he became a pirate. And then the other one that I listened to that I really enjoyed and was sad when it finished was talking about the history of medicine. So it would start with things that when they started going beyond, this herb helps. Oh, okay, well, let's try to capture what helps with that. And they started going to herbs and taking certain attributes. So, you started with the beginning of morphine. That was your first real drug. So they talked first from the ones that it took from plants that they already knew helped with certain things. Then they talked about ones where they were purely chemical. So, and they had several different ones. I can't bring one immediately to mind that was purely chemical. It was made in a lab, completely. Actually, I think penicillin came up for that.
I didn't think penicillin was purely chemical.
I
thought that was...
It had some... You see, my lectures are starting to blend together because I watched them one after another. It was grown primarily in a lab.
Right, it was, but it was...
I honestly am mixing up the things. But
it's been a long time since I read about penicillin, but...
But they had the ones that are purely chemicals. They're done completely... They were built in theory first, and then they were used. It wasn't like we see this plant works. Let's...
that was a mold penicillin.
Yeah, penicillin's a mold. Well, it grew off of something that was already being done in the lab.
See, I always thought that they saw it on bread first.
No.
I have to go back and read.
I actually just watched it. What they did
I have to check it for myself.
He was doing a test on something else, and he left to go for a weekend. Mm-hmm. And when he came back, the mold was there. And he just didn't go any farther with it. Mm-hmm. They saw that he saw its effects, but he didn't go much farther with that. Other people built off of that, so he gets a lot more credit than he actually really deserves. But one of the ones that was purely chemical were the ones that were built from coal.
Coal?
Coal. So it wasn't from a plant. They went from things like
what
coal.
Comes from coal?
I can't remember now, but they would take from coal certain aspects, and they would make medicines from it. Then the last lecture, which I found absolutely interesting, were the ones built from poisons.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the first chemo was made off of mustard gas.
Well, isn't there some medicine that's a bit of arsenic?
Yeah, there probably is.
I think there is something that's
I think there was.
In it.
There was. I can't remember it now.
Yeah. Small bits of arsenic.
So yeah, there was a very interesting lecture series.
Mm-hmm. It's been so long since I've done anything in that. I think it's been college, which was many years ago, since I've done anything with that kind of stuff.
And these seem to be, at least the ones I watched these past few times, have been BBC that are on Curiosity Stream. And the last one I'm currently watching, it's called Saints and Sinners, and it's a history of monasteries in England. So it's very interesting. She's very respectful to the topic matter, although I don't know that she is very familiar with the religious way of life.
Yeah.
But she's very respectful of it.
And that's a lot.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So that's that, and I'm still reading Nurse Come Ye Here, More True Stories of a Country Nurse on a Scottish Isle by Mary J. MacLeod. And Solace in Suffering, Wisdom from Thomas à Kempis, Imitation of Christ.
I'm really excited about the people who are interested in reading now Rosenblum and Eight Cousins and stuff like that. It's too bad. We have to talk to Joanna Johnson and say, hey, we know you've got Anne of Green Gables. What do you think about doing Eight Cousins and Rosenblum? Because I bet she could do it. If she seems to be filling up to things again.
Yeah.
We need to maybe drop her a line and say, hey, what do you think about this? Because she's so talented.
She is.
Joanna Johnson has the Anne of Green Gables pattern series and the Sherlock Holmes. And then she has like little children's books.
Well, she writes those books.
She does, but she also has patterns that go with them.
Yeah.
She's extremely talented, Joanna Johnson. And we like her. We love her very much.
I can't remember if she does the art or if her husband does the art.
I think her sister does the art.
Okay,
or
I knew.
sister-in-law.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think the lady's name also is Johnson, so maybe it's her sister-in-law. She does the artwork, and so it's extremely talented family.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, moving on.
So that leads us on to yarn and design. Do we want to do news before that, or do we want to do news after that?
I have a feeling we should do it after that, since it might go on a little bit.
Okay.
I guess I should do mine first because it's physical. I have yarn downstairs that you can't see. That will be, it's dried, but I didn't have a chance to rescan it because it wasn't dry yesterday. So you guys will see that next week probably. But this yarn I do have to show you here. Let's see here. Okay. I have 2 skeins of this you saw this last week. 2 skeins of Rabbit, and Fingering Sock. Downstairs I have 2 in DK. This is a colorway that can be used for the tortoise versus hare. Okay. I have 2 in DK downstairs. I have these 2 in Fingering Sock. And if people want more, I can make more. It's not a problem. This, I think you also saw this last week as well.
I think they did.
Rose and Bloom. Now, this is one of the new ones, and I have this one up here in DK. This is DK. I have 2, I have 1 downstairs in Fingering Sock. This is my new colorway. It's Impressionist. It's a new to me method of dyeing. It's the same colorway, but this is one of those colorways that even though it has all the same colors, can be substantially different.
It can
from
break
skein to
differently.
skein. And this one already, one of them is sold. So, and we'll explain how that happened later.
Yeah.
But this is what this is what this particular skein looks like.
Is that the one that's sold, or is that?
What I'm doing is I asked the person which one she preferred, and she said to surprise her. So Davina is going to, I'm going to put them in a bag and shake it up the bag, and Davina's going to pick one out, and that's going to go to the person who bought it. So it's Impressionist for obvious reason. And it's a little time intensive, but fun. And I might have not only this color in the future, I might have a few other colors in this kind of method, but it has to be done a couple at a time because I can only do 1 at a time, or maybe 2 if I have enough containers.
Right.
So
it's a good way to use up extra dye stock.
it's not dye stock.
Oh, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a method that is new to me and modified slightly because of the size of the container and the amount of liquid that I use. So as you can tell, one is slightly more green. I don't know if you can tell here. One is more green, one's more pinky
I think
blue.
they can tell, yeah.
So these will be going up in the shop. I already have the pictures. I just have to put it up. Only one is available for the rest of our viewers, but I can make more if I have to. And I have one in Fingering Sock. That's not there yet. Okay, that's all I have up here. Oh, and I did want to remind you that you have another 10 days if you want to get one of the ladies' favorite kits
Before
they go away, and are divided so that Ty will be just selling the pattern, I'll be just selling the yarn. If you want the kit, there's a slight discount if you buy it as a kit. We have a few red and 2 blue left. So, and I showed you the colorway last week of the Courtly Love. That is the red. If you need to see it, it is in the shop. If you go into Ladies Favor Red, you'll see what the Courtly Love yarn looks like if you go to like the second or third picture. Because Taya only had the blue mitts that she made.
Yeah.
So that takes care of that.
Now, I do have something from Gypsy Designs. We have a new pattern to go up for testing. This is the My Grandbaby Blankets.
That's the one I'm working on, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And this was developed, like the name implies, on a day where I couldn't look at anything. My eyes just hurt. I couldn't stand doing the seed stitch. And even more than the fact that it was seed stitch was the problem of the fact that with the winging of Baby Blanket, it was horizontal stripes versus vertical. So with it being horizontal, I had to worry about how many rows I had. And with the headache, I didn't want to have to think about that. I didn't want to look at my pattern. This, I just place stitch markers.
I was going to say, yeah.
And I knit accordingly. I don't have to look at it. So I can sit there with my eyes closed and knit this. So it was very much of a selfish design.
Well, the babies benefit from it.
Yes, I wanted it. So
pretty.
It's kind of...
Is that an acrylic yarn?
It is.
Yeah.
It's because I think the this is a little stretchy. It keeps...
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, the baby's going to stretch it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's one of those blankets that when they get a little older, they do this. You know.
So, this is the smallest size. So this is the comfort size. Next size up is stroller.
And this is the one I'm making.
Yeah.
We call it, the lovey size, the comfort size, whatever you want to call it.
And it does, like, I took pictures with the baby doll, and it will cover a baby. It's just not what you usually think of if you set out a blanket for them to play on.
Yeah, because Jimena's not a preemie doll. She's a baby doll. Okay.
So that leads us on to other important news. And this isn't the kind of important news where you guys wander off. No,
this is exciting news.
Yes. So, this kind of came really suddenly, and then we went right ahead and implemented it.
Because people caught a live stream and they liked it.
Yeah, so what happened was, it was Monday, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's that fast.
Yeah, I think it was Monday.
It was somewhere around there. Yeah, because we did it right after the, I think we did it right after our Liturgy of the Hours. It might have been Tuesday.
It might have been Tuesday.
It might have been Tuesday.
So, regardless... That day, we didn't do it after Liturgy Hours, we did it after lunch.
Did we? I don't think so.
Okay, maybe it was after Liturgy. Because I talked to you about it after lunch, and then we immediately started recording.
Whatever. I don't remember. I don't think so, but okay, it doesn't matter.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I got a notification on YouTube, or I was looking through my YouTube settings for whatever I was checking into. And they were talking about monetization and blah, 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 and how you need a certain number of viewers for that. I don't really like the idea of monetization. For one thing, it puts ads on the podcast, which not fun for anybody.
Yeah. And with our podcast being as long as it is, you'd probably have 3 or 4 ads.
Yes. And we don't have enough viewers. You need to have at least 1,000. And they can take it away anytime they want. So while I was thinking through options, I was texting Mom about it. Because I was hiding in my room. And...
Yes, we talk to each other via computer in the same house.
Yes, we do. But most of that is because that's my safe area where I can control the stimulation.
She just doesn't like us.
But we were talking about, maybe a little later, if we ever get to that point, blah, blah, blah. And then somehow in the conversation came up Patreon. It got dropped. But it just kept percolating in my head. And I started making a list of what kind of benefits we provide. By the time I was done, and by the time I brought the idea out to Mom, I had a full idea of what the cost of a Patreon would be, what different benefits we provide, etc. And I actually didn't bring my notebook because that was stupid. But
I have mine, but I don't think I have all my...
What I'll do...
I do have it because I copied it from you. Let me see.
I was going to say I could also bring up the Patreon because I can look through the tiers. So we did end up we did a live stream and asked people, do you think this is crazy? Thank you, yes. To actually do something like this. And people were like, go for it.
And we had about...
And they're like, if this is going to be overwhelming. And we set it up so it wouldn't be this could be something that was based on our ability to do it, but still would provide stuff that people would find beneficial to them. It won't change the main podcast.
No, everything will remain the same. This is extra.
Yeah.
This is extra. Everything, we do our weekly podcast, we have our PHN home group, we have our regular Facebook group. That all stays the same.
Mm-hmm. It's honestly just a way so I have a small bit of income coming in.
Well, we do some things.
And we do some things. And it really is a lot of fun. I'm getting a lot out of it. And I don't mean just like, oh, money. I mean like, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So there's 3 tiers. $1 a month, $3 a month, $5 a month. That's as high as we go. We don't provide the same level of content that someone like Bakery Bears does, where they have multiple kinds of shows, they go out and about. I feel like we can't justify going above a $5.
No, at this point, we can't.
And I'm not sure if I ever really want to put that kind of pressure on myself.
No, it would have to be something that we're like, oh, this is really pertinent. This is something, either I take it on or whatever. It's not likely to go any higher, but the potential's there for maybe a 7.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't go any higher than that most likely because we don't do the production values. We don't have the out and about. We don't have that capability.
Yeah.
At this, it's just too much for us to do something like over that's really edited and things like that.
Right. So, and that's just not our flavor anyway.
Yeah, we like to be kind of, we're here, we're visiting, we're doing whatever.
Yeah. So, the $1 a month, first of all, there's a Facebook Patreon group, which is nice, because I tend to actually be on Facebook a lot. That, for whatever reason, that format works very well.
And the Facebook Patreon group is for Patreon only.
Patreon only.
So, yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second because there's something that goes with that. We'll get through the tiers. And
then any sort of Patreon knit-alongs, people can take part in that for the $1.
And they can?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All the ones can do the
Right.
Facebook group, the Patreon alongs, and the monthly live stream. But that's what's available for $1 a month. And the monthly live streams is going to be the first Friday of each month. Now we'll let you know if something happens and we need to move it or whatever.
If there's a doctor's appointment,
yeah,
or
it will
something.
only move within that week, or you would still get it monthly. It just might
change time a little somewhere.
We would
we'll
let you know. $3 a month. Like I said, the Facebook group, Patreon alongs, monthly live stream, and then something called At the Designer's Desk, where I talk about designs that are coming out. You get, like, people who get at the designer's desk have already seen this, and they get a chance to sign up for testing a bit early. So they get a sneak peek and early in on testing. Tests will still be posted, and testers will still be listed in the PHN home, because that is our main place for everything. So this is just that people who are patrons can get a little bit of a sneak peek and get in early. Oh, and with the live stream, the things that are in the bags, the designs that are in the bags that you don't get to see on the main podcast,
you get to see the bag.
You get to actually see the project on the
live stream.
On the live stream. So you get a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. Let's see.
And you also get...
I'm not done yet. At the Dye Pot, where Mom will talk a little bit about the process of dyeing yarn, or about yarns that are coming out. And same general idea about a sneak peek.
Right. It might be more written for me because I have to depend on Talia for the technical, for the video. Plus, she's the admin over there. But that's how one of these sold. I put it on as a sneak peek on Patreon, and one of the people there saw it. So, it might, like we said earlier to the people on live stream when we decided about this, is that, there might be a time where I don't know what to name this. For a long time, I didn't know what to name this yarn. I might throw it out there and say, hey, what do you think? And you might name the yarn. Now, we did say that there might be alongs on all the tiers, those alongs could potentially have a prize.
Yeah.
Okay, and we say that. Keep going, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so and told you about the heads up on the so that's for the $3 a month. That's just saying heads up,
Right?
And we already talked about that. $5 a month has the Facebook group, the Patreon, knit along, crochet along, cow lows, the monthly live stream at the designer's desk. So everything where I talk about, new patterns coming out, that kind of thing. At the dye pot, which we just finished talking about. 10% coupon code for Lady Fur Co-Creation yarn. I actually need you to write a post for me with that code so that I can put that in there.
Okay.
So that they can see that. And
please don't give that code away if you are a member of Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you also could, it looks like you said something about, it will include the yarns and the kits. So whereas most of the time codes don't include the kits, for Patrons it includes everything. Tea of the month and tail. So but basically what our tea of the month is, not like we give you a tea.
Right.
At the last Friday of each month, we'll have a recording where we sit, we make a cup of tea, and we just chat with you guys.
Yeah, it might be about a book. And
by chat with you, it's not a live stream.
Yeah,
but
it's like this. And it might be we have our cup of tea, maybe a little something to eat, and we'll talk about. Might be a book. It might be besides
about
the tea.
The tea, yeah.
The tea will be first, but it might be about a book that we found, or it might be just chit chat, or it might be whatever.
Right. It won't be as long as this. Probably.
No, probably about half hour maybe.
Yeah. And then the one thing, something that's only for the $5, and I'm actually really excited about it. This has been taking up a lot of my time because I've been so excited about this. The exclusive yearly Franciscan Gypsy Designs pattern. So, once a year, I'll guarantee a Franciscan Gypsy Designs pattern that is just Patreon. Mm-hmm. But, right now, that'll only be for $5 members, except for this first one. It's in one of these bags that I'm working on that's for $3 and $5 members. They can get they would always have access to the, this one original pattern. It's a welcome pattern. And that is a patron only pattern. Other patterns will show up in something that I'm calling instructionals, which is where, like, for example, I got asked about knitting Fair Isle flat. So if I want to do an instruction video on that, which I am going to do, a pattern that might be developed for that would be available for free for the $5 members. Mm-hmm. But anyone else can still get it because it'll be available in my shop for sale. Right. It's just that the $5 members would have the tutorial videos, the whole process, like where I talk about how the design came about, what the thought process was, choosing the yarn, that kind of thing. Whereas clips of the tutorial video might be included in the pattern, it won't be the whole tutorial video. It will be maybe like, oh, here's basic technique.
Right.
But the whole process will be available as a patron.
Something else that will be available, I don't know, did we say for 3 and 5 only the pulling of random prizes? Was that just 3 and 5?
I think we said all.
Okay.
Because that would be from the Facebook.
Right. That we would, was it from Facebook or Patreon?
The Facebook group on Patreon, because that's where people will be able to post any sort of pictures or anything.
Okay. So we would be, there may be random prize pulls, either from me or from Talia, where...
Like if we're doing an along or something, like, oh, we developed this patron only, or we have this patron only along off of this pattern or whatever.
Well, that's one thing, but I'm also talking about just random.
Oh, okay.
That
yeah,
we
I
might
don't know.
just, say, okay, we're going to pull something. May not happen very often, but it might.
Yeah.
Just like we sometimes do for the Lady Fur Creations, Franciscan Gypsy Designs.
Right.
But that wouldn't be, that wouldn't be very often necessarily unless we feel like it.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot. I think we have a lot, and still some of it's still in development, especially where my stuff is concerned, dyeing yarn and all that kind of stuff, and maybe crochet patterns. So, So we'd love to have you with us.
Definitely not a
Not a
necessity.
requirement.
Nothing will
No.
change here. It's just that some of the things that you might not get to see might be things that most of the time they will be something you'll be able to see eventually, because I'm not planning on making many patron-only patterns. It'll be only planned to have one a year that's only patron. This year there'll be 2 a year, but they will get some things that's the rest of most everyone else.
It's the sneak peeks and the live stream and
the free, they're not really free, but
Yeah.
free patterns that you get that if they weren't a patron they would have to pay for.
Right.
But because they're patron, their $5 membership pays for that.
Right.
If they're $5. If they're 1 or 3, they'd still have to go and get it in the shop.
Right. And then of course you'd get the discount code perpetually, for the $5 they say $5 members, right?
Yes.
For my shop, which means that whether I have a sale or not,
Yeah.
they have 10% off for that. So, we'd love to have you if you feel like you want to do that.
Right.
Nothing's going to change with our regular PHN group, our home group or anything.
If anything, it's actually going to drive me more in my design.
Yeah.
Because
It's pushing us to do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. And it's not going to be too much work because the design stuff is based off of, I'm only required to do one patron pattern a year. I could do a designer's desk anywhere from, I can do as many as I feel like because those are known to be random. The only things that are set in stone is one patron-only pattern a year. Once a month we have a live stream. Once a month we have a tea party thing.
What do we call? Did we call that PHuN in the?
We just had
PHuN times?
PHN tea party.
Okay, what was PHuN times?
We decided not to. We didn't end up doing that.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we're both very excited about it. I know that it came really quick. It was one of those things that once the idea struck and people seemed to like the idea, we just went with it.
Right.
And
probably unannounced live streams will not happen anymore.
no, it'll be live streams that'll be connected to
Patreon. Because that's part of the deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it also means that if you're a patron, you know when the live streams are
Right.
coming.
So you won't miss it.
You'll be less likely to miss it. It'll be like, oh, okay. You'll get a warning. Hey, this is coming up. It won't be like a surprise.
Wish you were here.
Yeah. So it adds a different dimension, but we don't want it to change the main podcast.
Right. Okay, so did you want to talk about your cookbook a little bit?
Yes, so that goes on to personal.
We're going to go into personal, home-health-personal stuff. So if you feel like you don't want to hear all that, we understand. We wish you a very blessed weekend and week full of everything that makes you happy. We hope to see you back here soon. And before you leave, we want to thank the people who commented. Pat, Brittany, Renna, Looney Hiker, Eileen, Chronically Crocheting, Heather, and Penny. Penny's a new person. We're glad to have you with us. We want to thank you all for your comments, whether on YouTube or in the PHN home group. And we wish you the best of everything. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend. Please stay safe, and we'll see you next week for the PHuN in the Woman Cave.
And we also want to thank our patrons who have signed up. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, gonna give you a couple seconds to turn off.
1-100, 2-100, 3-100, 4-100, 5-100.
Okay.
That should be enough.
So I showed you this briefly. This is the Everything Gluten-Free, Dairy-Free cookbook, and it has a lot of markers for a reason. I actually haven't even marked off everything.
Did you explain why that you do this?
Well, I mentioned it last week.
Well, you might want to clarify.
Yeah. So I'm going gluten-free, dairy-free. It was on my doctor's order. I think there are multiple reasons. First of all, they want to make sure there's not an underlying issue that might be causing an infection, which can sometimes occur when you eat gluten and dairy, particularly in connection with POTS and mast cell. The other thing is my fatigue has been so bad that I think they're also hoping to help some with the fatigue and brain fog. Because last week I was mentioning how I couldn't function most of that week because I was so now part of it was headache, but part of it was a crushing fatigue. And this is an attempt to help even a little bit with that. And it actually does.
Yeah.
It's not a cure by any means.
But she's actually up and about.
I'm actually have the desire to do the cooking because I have a little bit more energy. My triggers will still trigger me. Mm-hmm. I opened a trash bag with scent that was it was impregnated with a scent and I didn't know it. It was a different trash bag than we normally use. And it severely affected me. I felt a little funny in the throat. I got very lightheaded and very fatigued. And I had to air out the room, and it took a little while for me to recover from that after what had been previously a pretty good day. Weather will still affect me. All my normal triggers will affect me, but this helps diminish the baseline fatigue a little bit.
Takes a little of the edge off.
It does. And it also has brought a bit of interest back into food again because it was very hard to really have any interest. It was very easy just to grab something and not really care. I'll just grab that quick thing because I don't have any energy to do it anyway. So this has a lot of awesome recipes, and I'm going to, even if they determine that I don't have a gut infection, I'm going to stick with this because I like how I feel on it. Part of it might be because I'm just having a good week, but it's more than my normal good week. Mm-hmm. And it's not that hard to deal with. And the foods, most dairy and gluten foods tend to be heavier foods anyway, and with the pots, I used to, before some of the medicines, I used to actually get elevated heart rates every time I ate a heavy meal, like up to 120s, 130s, because that was a trigger for me. So a lighter meal is not a bad thing. But my first thing I made was banana chocolate peanut butter overnight oats. Took out the banana because I don't like that. I added cranberries. I decided I really love overnight oats. My favorite one is the mocha latte overnight oats. Instead, I put in Plum Deluxe tea.
That was excellent.
And it's really good. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably making that more than the other one with the peanut butter.
The other one I didn't like as much. It was too strong of peanut butter.
It was very strong peanut butter.
She lets me taste it because while she's doing that, we are also transitioning into that, partially because of her, but partially because we're lactose intolerant. Mm-hmm. And like my husband made clam chowder yesterday, and he was up most of the night because of the dairy. So they
won't have the same bread limitations.
But we probably will do it anyway once we clear out most of the flour. We're not going to be able to go probably unless we needed to. We're not going to go full dairy
because we don't
have to. But we are going to go half to 3/4 at least, because it'll be easier to keep our larder stocked that way, and also it will be beneficial. We don't need to have all that stuff.
They have other good recipes, home-style waffles. I made the breakfast burritos. These are very good. I did change it a bit. I didn't add the avocado. They didn't have tater tots, so I put in like little diced potatoes that were, and I just cooked. They're fried. It's got frying in here with olive oil.
It was pan fried in olive oil.
Yeah. Left out the avocado. Yes.
She's christened it with olive oil.
This was a clean book until this recipe.
That's how you know a cookbook is well loved.
I added some dairy-free cheese because for some reason they didn't have cheese in it, so it was just weird to me. You had gluten-free sausage. It was really a good recipe, and I still have 4 burritos downstairs. It's a little heavier than my normal breakfast, so I might be eating it for lunch.
Let me show the cover of this. Crystal, you might want to check this out
to help some of the fatigue.
Some of the fatigue and stuff if you don't already have it.
I don't know if you have a lot of dietary restrictions.
Just in case. Yeah. I know she gets tired a lot. Mm-hmm. Crystal is chronically crocheting, and if you don't watch her podcast, you should. She's fun.
There's the one I want to make, and when Dad starts making hard-boiled eggs he's talking about, it's home-style egg salad. I always have liked egg salad.
Yeah, I like egg salad. You have to be careful of the mayonnaise, though.
Right. Well, there are gluten-free, dairy-free options. This is a gluten-free, dairy-free book. Yeah. Then chicken Alfredo.
Oh, yummy! And that's something that you think about with a lot of cream.
Fish tacos. This looks really good. This is one of the few things that has a picture. Wrong way. There we go.
It's got a really good selection of stuff.
Well, one of the things that drew me to it, what I did was I looked up a bunch of books with gluten-free, dairy-free on Amazon, and because I have Amazon Prime. Actually, I'm not sure if maybe all Kindle allows you to do this. I downloaded a sample of 3 options. This was the one I liked the best. And then I got the physical book.
She does normal food.
Right, these are things that I actually would want to eat versus like something that has 20 million ingredients and then it's just kind of weird. Stuffing. This is gravy here. Honey mustard. Loaded baked potato. Oh, this one. Hold on. I'm going to be making this for Father's Day for Dad. Zuppa Toscana. Dad and I are usually the only ones who eat this.
Well, it's because you put such...
Because it's spicy. It's supposed to be spicy. So to have this dairy-free and gluten-free is awesome.
And that's probably going to be the same dairy-free cream that we use for the clam chowder.
Actually, it doesn't have cream. It has almond milk in it.
Oh, does it?
I don't think the original has cream in it either.
Okay.
Egg drop soup.
Oh, I love egg drop soup.
That's why I marked it. Because I figured I might as well try it at some point. I made the deep dish pizza bites the other day. And these are really good. I posted a picture of it on Instagram and on my Facebook. I don't think this one I posted to the PHuN Facebook, though. So that was really good. I mean, loaded mashed potato bites. Oh, I need to make that. Maybe. There we go. Classic deviled eggs. I've always liked deviled eggs. And then eventually I stopped marking things so I was going to make them because there were too many.
Pineapple upside down cake?
Pineapple upside down cake.
I've been making that today, but I don't have all the ingredients for...
Peanut butter cookies.
Oh, both of them. Let me look at those before I make my stuff.
Okay.
I might not have the ingredients, though.
Old-fashioned oatmeal raisin cookies. Mini cheesecakes.
Yummy, yummy.
So there's just a lot, and I didn't mark half the things.
I might have to pick up a recipe book for myself.
Of this particular?
Yeah, so
it's a really good book. Shrimp scampi, Maryland crab cakes, sweet and sour pork.
Oh, I love sweet and sour pork. And you can just switch chicken if you want to.
Oh, there's so many different Italian meatballs.
But now you see why I wanted to do this now as opposed to when you were doing the other stuff.
Even if you don't have a particular desire for gluten-free, dairy-free, they're good recipes. A lot of options, things that people actually eat.
Well, I noticed when Daddy made the bread bowls to go with the clam chowder, I was so tired. I crashed for like 45 minutes because I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Well, that's because that makes you tired. French toast, breakfast cookies. Oh, they have donuts.
Yeah, baked donuts.
Different kinds of baked donuts. I want to try this cinnamon roll French toast casserole. I need to mark that.
I think you're making people hungry. You need to stop.
So this is really good. I think I've made my case that there's basically most pages have a good, really awesome recipe on it. I consider myself a picky eater.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Oops. I lost my...
And I actually, like I said, I have the desire to mess around in the kitchen a little bit. Now, if I have... Like when I made the burritos, I did wipe out afterwards because I had made 2 things on the stovetop. I have to sit in my rollator to make things because I have orthostatic intolerance, which means if I stand for too long, I'll get lightheaded, especially if there's a lot of heat and moving around. So I sit while I'm cooking. And for the pizza, I think I made the pizza bites during the morning. I made the pizza bites around lunch, so I had those ready to go. And then I had made the burritos that night. But it meant that I was really wiped out after making the burritos because there's a lot of stirring with the stuff being over the oil and it's a lot of heat. So I was very tired by the end of that. But for someone who doesn't have the same intolerance as I do, for exercise intolerance, orthostatic intolerance, and heat intolerance, you might be okay.
Okay, is there anything else we need to do?
No, this was actually, for me, a pretty good week. I mean, I had a couple of bad things for medical, but it wasn't as bad as it was last week.
Okay, and I guess I am good to go as well. Again, Sue, please contact me to tell me that you won your 400 episode giveaway yarn.
And also, before I forget, before we leave, the link to our Patreon is in the PHN home, and I'll probably have to add a link at the bottom of the podcast
Right.
as well, so people can get there if they're interested.
Right. We'd love to see you there if you'd like to join us. We have if it's a live stream. No, we have a tea party coming up, right?
We have a tea party coming up. That
Yeah.
would be, let's see, what's the...
It's
I have it on my
26th,
calendar.
I think.
Because
Because the 27th is Saturday.
I start putting things like test due dates and things like that on my calendar, because otherwise I'd forget. And by test due dates, I mean like pattern tests. So yeah, it's the 26th.
Yeah. So the 26th, we will have it up then, or we'll be doing it then.
We'll be up and doing it then.
Okay.
Because it's not going to be terribly long. It won't take as long to...
Yeah, probably be about a half hour or so, give or take.
And the PHN Live is on the 3rd, which is great because that's right before my retreat.
Right.
Because
That's
I was a little bit concerned. Yeah, it's the week after the 4th.
Okay.
So
That's right. It's the whole week. I forgot yours is the whole week. Okay. So, yeah. Let me see. I guess that's it. Keep your eye on the shop for things going up if you want yarn. And I thank the people the person who contacted me so quickly about the yarn. I appreciate that. And we are grateful to all those who have joined Patreon. And we are grateful, of course, to everybody who's a member of the group. We wish you a blessed week full of knitting, crocheting, crafting, whatever it is that makes you happy. And we hope to see you back here again for the Fun in the Woman Cave next week. This is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 407, and that's a wrap.
bye.